I'll be honest with you guys. These last few months, I've been having trouble sleeping. I just lie in bed and I just ponder October 21st. I'm the president of the Charles Olivera fan club, and the biggest fight of Charles' life is coming up. And afterwards, there may not be a club to be president of. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Islam Makhachev is a tough fight for Charles Olivera. In their first fight, Charles completely got his game shut down. He had a few good sequences here and there, but he wasn't able to show off any of his skills. The things that put him a cut above the rest during his championship run, he wasn't able to use any of it. Now, Charles has come out since that fight and said Islam got in his head. He fought very timid. He did not use the full extent of his skill set in the fight. Now, while some may say this is all just excuses, a few very important people who don't think so are the ones Charles beat in his title reign. Michael Chandler, Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje. They've all talked about how the version of Charles they fought was way better than the one that fought Islam. Going back and looking at Charles' past performances, it's easy to see why they're saying that. I mean, when he fought Dustin Poirier, he wasn't letting him breathe. He was marching him down, constantly attacking the body with all sorts of different attacks. He was eating a punch just to land one of his own. He almost had this complete reckless abandonment, this supreme confidence to his striking. And that clearly was completely absent when he fought Islam, but I think it's a bit more than Charles not showing up. Islam is known for mitigating all risks when he fights, and this is a very smart strategy to have when you're having a fist fight with 4-ounce gloves. Charles tried to pressure him, but every time he did, Islam would lunge in with a punch and then immediately circle away. He never stayed in the pocket with Charles. And this definitely contributed to Charles struggling with the striking, but a big important factor here is Charles kind of tried to just box with him. He threw like only 3 or 4 teeps the whole fight. Now this guy's known for being able to mix it up and throw a variety of attacks, but in this fight, it was a lot of hands. A lot of hands. And if there's one thing you know about Islam Makhachev, he's got very good, weird, unorthodox head movement. Him and Khabib, it doesn't look very pretty, but they're really hard to hit. To me, the reason Charles was so one-dimensional was probably because he's telling the truth about getting timid, about getting nervous, about not showing up. Remember when he literally kicked Michael Chandler off of his feet with a calf kick? Remember when he rocked and dazed Beneil Dariush with that feint right hand to a high kick? We need more of that. We don't need a boxing match. Islam's hands are really good. You saw the way he kept catching Volkanovski? We need to feint with the hands to open up the kicks. And once the kicks start landing, that's when the punches are going to open up. As far as fighting in the clinch goes, Charles actually did really good fighting in the clinch. He landed a lot of good knees, a couple decent elbows. It was probably the best aspect of the fight for him, other than getting thrown in the first round, because he ended up pressed up against the fence, which is the last place you want to do jiu-jitsu, with your head pushed into a wall. So the only thing you gotta fix there is, if that happens again, try to stand up. Don't concede bottom in a position like that. Now, on the ground, when Charles first pulled guard, he actually had a decent amount of success off his back. He threatened with the triangle, he mitigated a lot of damage, from half guard attacked Islam's legs, but the fact of the matter is, it's going to be difficult finding a submission just pulling guard like he did before. Charles is the better submission grappler between him and Islam, but he's not better enough to reliably find submissions sitting in guard. The only 2 ways he's going to find submissions is 1, attacking the legs, or 2, through scrambles. In the Beneil Dariush fight, Charles was winning the rounds on his back with ground and pound. But I'm not ready to say that's going to be enough to consistently win rounds against Islam. If I'm sitting in full guard with him, I'm throwing my legs up looking for arm bars, triangles. If Islam pulls out, that's when you attack the legs, that's when you attack the unorthodox submissions to cause scrambles. In that madness is where things are going to open up. Let Islam try passing your guard off a failed submission attempt. You're much more likely to catch him in something there rather than just sitting in guard. With all this being said, though, guys, Islam, he's a very, very tough fight. Stylistically, it's not an easy matchup for Charles. And look, I'm the captain of the Charles Olivera fan club. And a captain does not abandon his ship no matter what. If Charles Olivera loses to Islam Makhachev, I'm going down with the ship. If Charles Olivera loses to Islam Makhachev, I am going to delete my channel. There's just no point going on without him. One last time, guys. I love Charles.